Good evening. Good evening. I see people here. That was weird. The intro just played twice. Hello, Lewis. David, how are you? Laura, Melissa, Anna, how are you? Eric, Nancy. Yeah, before my special guest joins me, very special guest for this one, by the way. I'll put my hat on. Is that better? That's better. My first special guest. Hello, Donna Marion, Rosa, how are you? Kelly, how are you? I got a big surprise for everyone. Christopher, how you doing? Cheryl, Nancy, big surprise for everyone. This is a big special show. You're gonna you're gonna be glad you were here for this one. Wait, don't come on out here yet. Don't. No, you can't hog the camera. No, you can't. You gotta sit by me. Come on. There you go. You can join me. There you are. There's my special guest, the one and only Mr. Zach Baggins. Thank you for joining me. You know I watch your show all the time, and you came all the way to Jersey just to meet me, right? Yeah. Zach, you're a little. There you go. That's better. So, in case you missed it, and all the pictures and Saturday night that we took, this is one of my birthday gifts from Tanya and Kenny is the life-size Zach Baggins cardboard cutout. And I actually preferred this over Chris Therian being my co-host because we all know that I...
Oh, wait. No, he's got to go. He's got to go.
Love me some Zach.
Okay.
I all love Zach. How could you not love Zach?
Of course not.
Where on earth did you get that? Yes. So that was a nice surprise on Saturday because we all know I love me some Zach. I got my Zach coloring books now, and I got my life-size Zach Baggins cardboard cutout, which I like a lot. Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Sunday night. We haven't been on for a while.
I need a pillow. I'm too short.
Lots to cover. Lots to go over. Lots to talk about.
I got to sit on pillows.
You done?
Yes, that's so much better. Yes.
How's everybody doing? I'm going to try to straighten this out here because I'm having a hard time here. Getting old, man. 54. My vision's gone blurry on me. What's up with that? Let me take a sip of my caffeine.
You tease me all the time because I couldn't see any of these things, and I was like looking like this, trying to see the comments.
So, when we left you last, it was the live stream from the Creeper Gallery, which I just posted. I did a edited version of the African spirit idol. I don't know what else to call that, but I did an edited version. I put it up so you guys could see it. It's kind of just a short version of the whole. It was almost an hour we spent on that thing. So, yeah. I shortened it as much as I could and much as I could into that investigation. But when we went there, I didn't know that was there, but I did know the monkey skull necklace was there.
It's a tribal thing, right?
Yeah, that was the original plan, was to do that one.
Oh, I wouldn't have done that one.
And to do some others. But seeing that idol there and reading the information, I was like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to do this one, that one, and that one. And we originally talked about doing the monkey skull too, but I thought that would be a little much. So you said do them both. You were the one who said it. Do them both.
Did I?
Yeah, you sure did. And I said, no, let's just do the one, see how that goes, and then we'll do the other one another time.
I think I'll let Tanya
hello,
do
Kim.
that one. I think I'm going to let Tanya do that one with you.
So we started with, I can't even remember what we started with. I remember it was, the toys were the second thing. What was the first thing again that I picked out? Do you remember?
The shoes.
Oh, yeah. I like those shoes. Yeah. Those shoes. They were kind of funny looking, I guess.
Yeah, they were theatrical shoes. They were specially made.
Funny looking. And go back and watch that one. If you haven't watched that investigation yet, I'm going to clip that one as well. We got more EVPs in a 15-minute period than we have in a very, very long time. I mean,
that seems to be the way that she communicates.
I love that though. That's the favored way. If you're going to do an investigation, what you hope for is EVPs over anything, because she was talking a lot. And I was loving that, because I'm thinking, again, when we go in there and we're picking objects out, I have a habit of, hey, Brian, I have a habit of taking the worst one and leaving it for last, because I think it's going to be the most active. And then the others are just kind of a mixture of other things. I don't want to go dark, 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 because obvious reasons. But that one was a pleasant surprise. And after doing that, and again, EVPs were really good. She was really interactive for such a short session.
Yeah.
We actually cut that short because we were getting so much right off the bat. And nothing on the SLS for that one, but just really good communication. I don't think Donna's going to have any issue at all selling those shoes, because
no.
EVP's the best. So EVPs were really good. And then I'm not getting your notification. Harmony,
no idea why.
I can't explain Facebook to you. It is.
We
what
don't
it
get
is.
it either.
Yeah. So I don't know why Facebook changes what they changed. They're taking likes every week and whatever. So Facebook is Facebook, but it is what it is. Hey Teresa, how are you? So then we decided to do the toys, and I did the toys because Donna pointed them out to me, and I thought they were kind of weird looking, but they weren't really toys. They were figurines. Is that what you want to call
those? Seemed like
those?
they were figurines. Yeah, a child's figurine, something to decorate a child's room, and supposedly they were like, one of them was supposed to hold candy.
That's all you got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't really remember too much about them, to be honest with you. Except for I think we got a little boy or something off of them.
Hey, John McGinnis, how are you?
Hey, John.
I don't think there was a lot there. Again, that was one of the ones where we tried, and
kind of like a first introduction.
Some things don't have a lot of energy, and a lot of things. You can't assume that every object is going to be haunted and every object is going to yield evidence. It just, you can't. I mean, if that were the case, then, everything, and you can't assume that we're always going to get something, even if they do.
Yeah.
It's like being in a haunted building and expecting something to happen every single time you step in there.
I agree.
It's not logical. It's not the real world. It's not what happens.
No.
Hello, Luann. How are you? So it was the same with those toys. Initial introduction to the both of us, not much there at all. And I'm not one of those people that feel like, is it something to do, every investigation and get something? Yeah, that would be great. All the time, every time, it would be great. But I think it adds more credibility to the live investigation process when you don't really get a whole lot off of one or two or three, and then the next time you get a good one that gives you, some stuff. I think that's it can't be all the time. It just can't be. And some stuff, there's like that those shoes, there's EVPs right off the bat, and you won't get another EVP the whole night or the next night sometimes. And it's like, that's the beauty of doing what we do is you don't know. Hey, Jackie, how are you? What did you say, Louis? I didn't see that. It went by too quick. That's why I'm on YouTube. Yeah, that's why. YouTube, I stream on both so that the Instagram people could watch live as well. So yeah, unpredictable is the key word for the paranormal, period.
Yeah.
When you're doing what we're doing, is that Connie? When you're doing what we're doing, and you're investigating different buildings, different people's homes, different objects, you can never go in with any mindset that, and it's the same when you go into a private home. You can't go with the mindset of it's haunted, it's haunted, it's haunted. You've got to go through the process with everything every time, no matter what you're doing and what you're dealing with. There's been many buildings, we talk about this all the time, where one time we walk in there where we do these events and it's like Amityville, and then another time it's Quietsville. See what I did there? Quietville, Amityville. Yeah.
Dead
Thank you.
silence.
Thank you. My neck. Yeah, my neck was the next day. It was still stinging pretty good. I'm gonna get to that. We're gonna talk about the idol in a minute.
It's exactly why you do a baseline, but even with a baseline, you just never know what's going to happen.
No, and again, I preach this at all my lectures, and I say it again and again every single time. Every time we do something, there's no way of knowing how energy is going to mix with energy. There's just no one can predict that ever, anywhere, at any time. It's just it's like predicting how two people are going to get along when they first meet each other. You may have similar interests and similar likes, like these dating apps and all that, and then meet the person in person and go, oh my God, this is not who I thought it was. And there's just, I got a vibe from this person that's just, nah, this is it.
Yeah.
One and done. It's the same when you're dealing with spirit, in that there's no way of knowing who is going to get interaction or how many or any at all, as many times as you do this. Get Zach back, please. Zach, you want to chime in here, Zach, because I could use a.
Well, because I was going to say something, but I don't want to take away from steam. You always said that I jump ahead, and I just.
Well, no, we're not
wait
there yet. But do you have anything to add to what we've discussed up to this point?
No, the fact that certain energies in people have an effect, and we do this every time we do events or like.
There's a question. Go ahead, answer that one. Harmony.
Sometimes you can feel the energy in a place and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it takes you by surprise. I think we tend to feel when you walk into a place if there's a high tension or uncomfortability, or you can walk into a place and your own intuition will tell you if it works for you. Like, okay, perfect example. John can walk into a space and say, hey, this space doesn't bother me at all. This is fine. It's perfect. There's nothing wrong here. I can walk in there and have a whole different read in that space, because this, just like the object or a haunted building reacts to a certain individual, the energy of a building or a space can affect your energy. So, and I talk about this all the time when I'm doing my thing. I can walk into a home and feel it's warm, it's comforting. I like it there. For some reason, it just feels like a warm hug. Another person can walk in there and say, no, this doesn't vibe for me. This doesn't feel good. This isn't where I want to be. I'm uncomfortable. It's different for every person. So if someone walks into the room and says, wow, I feel really uncomfortable in this room, it's, this room freaks me out, it may not do the same thing for another person. So it is about each individual person reacting to a space.
Yeah, I tell people,
no, we're not sensitives.
I tell people even during our events, be mindful of the area you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Monitor. It's part of being a quote unquote researcher, investigator, more than just the equipment and the recordings and all that other stuff, is how the space is affecting you as well. And, that can be different from anybody around you as well. You could walk in, like you said, and feel nauseous or feel happy or feel anxious or feel angry. And others around you may be like, I don't feel nothing here. I mean, I tell people as they go from space to space, area to area, just be mindful of what you're feeling and don't go in with any preconceived ideas. Just go into the space and see how you feel.
Having said that, John and I, the team, have actually been in spaces that feel totally normal 1 minute, and then all of a sudden it changes. It can go from a negative feeling to all of a sudden there's just nothing, and it's almost like whatever was there left, or you feel totally comfortable and something negative or a charge happens that you can't explain all of a sudden.
A lot of, and it's true. It's funny because it's true. A lot of places feel different with the lights off. I mean, and I don't want to jump ahead either, so I'm going to get to that in a minute. Kind of an example of that happened this weekend. And so a lot of places, like anywhere else, like your home. I mean, a lot of people, that's why kids are afraid of the dark. During the day, they can play all day long in the home and go from one room to another. You turn those lights off at night and get spooky, and they're afraid to go to that one room with the closet or whatever. It's not so much the fear of,
you feel vulnerable.
Yeah, it's that, and your sense your sensory deprived. That's more of what it is as well. You're no longer at the advantage of having the lights on and seeing everything around you. Now you're at the mercy of just kind of limited to a flashlight unless you have a
Because there's a sense of security in daylight.
right. But
It's an illusion.
so then we did decide to do the I keep wanting to say African Idol, but it sounds like some bad version of American Idol. But that object itself, if you had to guess height wise, what would you guess? 3 feet, maybe?
At least.
3.5 feet?
At least.
3.5 feet. Kind of heavy. It's got some weight to it. If you walk into the red room, it would be right in front of you. She has it on a hanging up. And I immediately looked at that object when we walked in there and said, oh, this is what, because we had talked to Donna about that when we did the auction. She had mentioned certain objects that she had acquired, and that was one of them, along with the monkey chain, necklace, whatever. And when I saw it myself and I looked at that thing and I said, I kind of had a little bit of a feeling that, and then when I read the information, the most interesting thing in the world, which is why I'll always want to investigate things because it's just my nature. When I read the information about that, the fact that that was potentially used by people, I don't want to necessarily say a tribe because I don't know if it was a tribe or not, by people to influence spirit to come in and occupy it. To me, when you put that whole puzzle together with what's in the red room, it is like,
so it was designed to
bring
hold the
spirits
spirit in.
bring it in, and to kind of that people were going to use that spirit for whatever. I can't remember the exact wording, but the sorcerer of the group, tribe, whatever you want to call it, was the person who was in charge of watching over. There were several of them that they would use. So again, according to what I read, so I'm thinking at first, A, are there any spirits still within the idol itself? And B, can the spirits within the room use that to even amplify themselves even more? That's what was
like
going
a
through
lightning
my head.
rod.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
So that's what was going through my head as I read that. I'm thinking, boy, talk about potential here. If we could tap into it even a little bit of what could happen, and boy, oh boy, did we boy, oh boy, did we tap in. And what's funny about that is that I love investigating with Chris. I mean, normal conditions, normal investigation, normal building, if there is such a thing, she's a great investigator. So is Tanya. So is Kenny. I work with a group of really, really good investigators who all have different ways of doing things and different ideas. And we've talked about this 100 times. But Chris, when it comes to the dark stuff, she's flat out said to me, look, I don't want to expose myself. I don't want to be in front of that. I don't want to be.
Don't.
So that leaves me on the island of, okay, I'm the one who's going to do this, which I don't mind. I've done it before. I've done it alone. But again, that's a double-edged sword when they come back to bite you, because you are the only one who's doing it. And would be ghosts, and I don't even know what that means.
Oh, they're from
you're
a
from
world
Tokyo.
of Ghost and
Oh, how you doing?
Hi,
From
Irene.
Tokyo. Nice to meet you. So anyway, so we start with this thing, and at first it was taking a little while, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe this is one of those objects where either it takes a few tries or it isn't what I'm reading. I go, you know me, clean slate. I go in with an open mind. I read the information. I use it as a resource, but it isn't my Bible. It isn't, set in stone with me where I read something and go, this is what it is. I'll explore everything,
and you
trying
do.
to engage
You
and
do.
communicate. So I'm going through it, and you're talking, I'm talking, and what I described it as is exactly true. We were out in the cold a lot this weekend, and we'll get into that in a minute. When you get really, really cold, and I get on my big nose when I'm outside in the cold, when you get in a really, really cold, or even your fingers, and you've been overexposed, maybe you don't have frostbite yet, but you're definitely feeling the effects of the extreme cold. being exposed, prolonged exposure.
Yeah.
And I felt that on my neck. It felt like just my neck had been exposed to, like someone taking ice and putting it on there, you know, like you
Okay.
get a cold pack.
Yeah, like a freezer
So,
burn.
yeah,
Like what you're
freezer
saying,
burn.
freezer, like
That's
it was
what
a
it felt
burn,
like.
that ice cold burn.
That's exactly what it felt like, a freezer burn. And as I'm feeling it, I didn't at any time want to put my hands up so people would think that I somehow touched myself or
Right.
whatever. I kept my hands down. Even when I was starting to feel it, I kept saying, I'm feeling this thing, but I don't want to touch my neck. I'm feeling this thing, but I don't want to touch my neck. And then it kept feeling like it was getting a little bit bigger, a little more stingier, if that's the word to use. And
wasn't going to be ignored.
I kept saying there in my mind that there's got to be something going on there. There's got to be something going on there. So I couldn't see it till I just watched the video now.
It's pretty bad, wasn't it?
I've been editing the video, so I really couldn't see what it looked like. So I finally saw what it looked like. And what I saw initially was scratches kind of here, but then there were also my
they
neck.
were on it was on your left side.
Yeah, it was on my, like across the base of my back before you go down where the shirt is. We're from Metuchen, New Jersey, more northern. That's where we are.
Yeah, central.
But when I saw it, it's different than actually what I felt. What I felt was I definitely felt something. So hearing her react the way she was and filming it, I was just like, okay, doesn't happen a lot. I've been scratched a lot in all my years of doing this. It's very infrequent, I guess is the word. So having that, I said to myself, okay, what did I do to get that reaction? What was I saying? What was I doing? You know? And I'm thinking, okay, somebody's firing a warning shot. You know, that's what I thought. Like, okay, the scratch was, you might want to take your foot off the pedal a little bit, knees up a little bit, but I don't know how to do that. So.
But what was even more unique is that happened. I freaked out when I saw it, seeing how bad it was, and they got to see it. And then as soon as I stepped back, immediately on the SLS, there was the figure.
And you've got to watch that part again because your reaction is priceless.
Why?
Because it's one of your reactions where you're like, you just come back from looking at my neck and you're like, oh, a figure.
Well,
God. It was so loud. And there it was, a giant. The first one of the night. There hadn't been one with the shoes. We haven't gotten an SLS figure in forever in that room, to be honest. Could you remember the last time in the red room? It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
So there it was. The figure was probably taller than I was, than I am. And it was just standing there. And again, I got to watch it on the replay. So it just stood there and stood there and stood there. And as I'm going through the video and I'm getting to watch it from the watcher perspective, as opposed to the person sitting there, it's a whole different thing when you get to see it not in real time. We were in real time, so you miss a lot. You're just kind of going through it and seeing what happens. But watching in real time, it's saying, stop it. And the EVPs, where I asked if it was trying to hurt me, and it said, yeah. And then before I asked another question, there was so much going on there, to be honest with you, that it was just like, okay. And here's what made me nervous. And we talked about this. I had to see what the figure would do if I handled the idol and I took it away from where it was set up. So when I did that, I couldn't see what the figure was doing. I was nervous about it coming towards me. Even as I was holding it, I'm like, let me hold it, because if this thing is channeling spirits in, I want to see again what the effect to me would be. So I'm holding this thing, and I did an EVP session, and again, I got to watch it. The figure stayed where it was. Matter of fact, when I first moved it, like you said, the leg kind of lift up as if to bend out of my way. And I'm holding it, and the figure stayed there the whole entire time. It moved a little,
but it was like stomping on your, like trying to stomp on your hands where you were holding.
But it also, when I put my hand, it's in the video, and I asked it to touch my hand, touch twice, trying to touch me. So
And that's scary when you think about that this thing is reacting. It's not just standing there, it's reacting to what you're saying and what you're doing.
Yeah, but again, for
And
me,
you can't see it.
as a researcher and an investigator, I thrive off of multiple levels of
You do.
validation. So it's great to be able to hear a voice, to hear a spirit box voice, to see a figure, to have equipment go off, and to have the personal experience of being actually harmed as like check, 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 check. So we're talking as we're putting the idol back that this person, whatever spirit, is not going back to where the idol is. It's staying there. So we looked at each other like,
what are we going
to do here if this spirit?
What did you unleash?
Yeah,
basically,
we thought, what came out of there? Was it something, or was it something in the room that was able to manifest? I was thinking both. So we're going through the prospect of we're done. We're about to wrap up, and whoever that is or whatever that is still right there in front of us. And believe me, it had come to whatever that was still being there. We would have had to really go home and get some stuff and come back there and try to
he would have to
see
go back.
what happened to alleviate whatever was going on there. But luckily, as we're going and we're talking, and I'm listening back to the EVP session, whatever it was did vanish. And I'm assuming either go back to the object that it was connected to originally or back to the idol.
I think it went back to the idol.
I think so too.
I just had a very strong, and boy, I don't know how people have asked me to describe it and I can't, and he didn't get this, but there was a very putrid smell.
I didn't smell it at all.
You didn't smell a darn thing, and it was just so bizarre, but a putrid smell that was just so repulsive kept hitting my nose. It was just like my nose actually started to run because it was so putrid and bad, and my eyes were watering. At one point, my eyes started to burn.
And that's why I do it. David mentions you have to find out what it's capable of. That's what it's all about.
And that's exactly what it is.
For me, as someone who, quote unquote, investigates these objects, the last thing I want, and again, energy mixes different with energy. So I'm not even the fail-safe, to be honest with you. It may be fine with me and not with anybody else. Anything is possible. But I wanted to see, again, how far up, what the level was going to be and how far it would go. When that spirit appeared and I was hearing the EVPs and the spirit box stuff I was hearing, I was saying to myself, what else is going to happen here? Like I was waiting for potentially, things moving in the room, knocking, objects moving. I was waiting to see like, where are we going with this here?
But the bigger picture is it physically can do things. It physically harmed you.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I'm just going to push down the stairs by spirit.
But I get that. But think about something you can't see can physically harm you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, you're in a different plane of existence than they are, to where some of them have physical ability. True.
That doesn't intimidate you even just a teeny bit.
No, not at all. No. I'm glad you're both okay. Yeah, we came out of it okay. And again,
I was freaking out.
The next day I still felt the sting. People were asking me about it at the event. Friday. People were asking me about it, and I was telling them, yeah, the sting stuck with me, and I had a bad.
You actually gotten another. It wasn't prominent like it was, but you had a mark, just that it was like the raised right there, and you were feeling, and you did have a little, but it was nothing like the left side at all. And maybe that's because you were facing the idol right there, and it got you.
You drink that coffee fast.
I did. I needed it.
I still have 3/4. I took a sip of my tea, literally, but I did have a headache the following day. That was Thursday, I believe. Was it?
Yeah.
Thursday, I believe I had a headache. And even into Friday, we had an event Friday at the White Hill Mansion.
You were off.
And I wasn't off. I was tired. It was hard for me. Meant.
You were off.
It was really hard for me to muster energy for that event. I had enough caffeine and sugar to really gear me up. But like even on the ride there, I was yawning and nodding like I was falling asleep. So I had a very no energy. So that was different. And I know a lot of people enjoyed it. Some people said it's the best one yet, and I appreciate all that. But the purpose really is to, again, see what these things are capable of, to see if we can connect with them and communicate with them. And again, in my brain, it's all about the research and being a more well-rounded investigator. So I
was ready for that to go back and to get out of there. I was like, I literally wanted.
It wasn't scary during, to be honest with you. After getting scratched, if I'd got scratched again or something else would have happened like that, I probably would have ended it, and that would have been that.
What about when you thought that I messed with the camera or the phone when we were videoing and people could hear us? And what happened?
I forgot all about that.
And what happened? Because he thought I messed up the video when I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, but it wasn't even it was dark for a minute. When I edited it, it wasn't, you couldn't hear or see anything. It was just dark for a few minutes, and then you could see the camera moving and they could see us again. But prior to that, it was dark.
But tell them what happened. What happened when I gave you the phone? A map of
Africa. I saw the map of Africa when I had to set it back up again.
So for those who didn't watch and haven't seen it, we were in the middle of the live, and all of a sudden his phone, like everything just stopped. We weren't getting messages. I wasn't seeing, usually you'll see who's watching and stuff. I was getting nothing. It just seemed like everything was stopped, but it looked like we were still going live. And that I started asking if you could hear or see, can you respond? And people, I guess, were responding, but we couldn't see it. So I said to John, something's wrong with the feed. And then something, and he goes, what did you do with the phone or something? And I handed the phone to him, and he said a map of Africa showed up on the phone when I handed it to him.
I literally looked at it and said Africa.
And I was just like, I told you I didn't do anything to it. So that thing has some power behind it.
Yeah, like I said, if I'd gotten scratched again, I would have.
You need to be.
I would have stopped it then, but it didn't happen. But again, in my brain,
if that had been me who had been scratched that first time, that'd have been it. Done.
No, I'm fascinated by it.
I know you are.
I want to swim out even further.
I know you, because you'd swim with a shark, wouldn't you?
And I was doing what I was doing, but again, if it got physical still, I would have stopped it, but I kept going. But look at all that played out there. It was a physical something manifested there. We could see it on the SLS camera. We got voices on the recorder. We got voices on the spirit box. I was scratched. The equipment was going wonky, which again, these were all things that factored into whatever or how many ever spirits were attached to that thing, or it was again, it could have either been attached or it was drawing in everything from the room. That's possible too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was great that all that validation, and somebody asked what would have happened if it didn't go away. Well, if it didn't go away, we would have had a problem on our hands where we would have probably had to have gone home and come back again the next morning to try to sage and do some other stuff to see if we mapped it and if it was still there, and to see if it would leave or go back to wherever it came from. But luckily we didn't run into that. But again, with some of these items, Donna won't sell them, and the curse box, the religious book,
the sensors.
But there are people that will want to buy that and keep it in some kind of museum or something like that. And that's
for one am not one of those people. Just saying out of the gate.
I'd be real careful, man. If that thing again has the potential and the power that
you scratch me once, it's the one and done.
Yeah, but I'm more, again, for me, it was like giving that exactly what it needed. If there were spirits attached that were interacting, that's one thing. But if it had the ability to channel in the ones that were in the room as well, that's a double whammy, man. and that's something
And
that's,
what have you
but
always
that's what I
said?
kept trying to do. I'm like, you heard me say during the video, I'm like, if any of you guys could use this, use it.
You did.
And boom, that's when.
And
things
you've
went
always
pretty
said,
crazy.
what are the ones that usually come out are the stronger, darker ones.
Yeah, but again, there was probably multiple spirits there. So, and again, what I was, because go back and watch at least the 12 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever I posted, it threatened to slash me again. It said, you got to listen to it. It's really, really fast on the spirit box. But if you loop it, it says, come near me, I'll slash you again. Or come near me, I'll slash you. I can't remember exactly what it said. And what did I do? I didn't hear that live. I heard it when I listened back. I grabbed it after that and pulled it towards me.
Oh,
so
you did.
I was fortunate that.
And all I have to say is that I did stick that one out for you. Because I did, but I do think that Tanya's going to have to do the next one with you. Because I don't think I want to do that amulet with the monkey. Because that one's supposed to be darker.
I don't know if it's darker. I don't know if anything. Again, you're talking.
I don't want to take that chance.
Yeah. So it was different. And when you walk in there, that's what I love about the Creeper Gallery and going into the Red Room. You never know. We literally walk in there and, there's times when we're doing the auctions and Donna's like, I want you to investigate 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we take those things out and we investigate those. But the majority of the other time is literally us walking back there going, let's do that one. Let's do that one. And let's do that one. And
those shoes surprised you.
Everybody knows, as far as I'm concerned, I'm looking at those cards. Ooh, Dark Attachment. That's one. The shoes were great. I actually enjoyed that. Yeah. I enjoyed that a lot because I want to clip that one because those EVPs were really, really good. She was talking, man.
She was.
And that's why I was glad that you started that one because she's a female from a certain era.
Yep.
You're, a female, very respectful. And I thought there would be kind of a easier connection there as opposed to me trying, to connect with her. And it worked.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes that different approach or a different softer. And again, just having an open conversation and just seeing where it goes and what happens and what comes of it. It all depends on, you just never know what you're going to happen.
No. And that was, again, we went to the White Hill Mansion on Friday night. Weird for us to do Friday nights events. We don't do them that often. And this was rescheduled from September. Friday night events throw everything off because we're in the mode of, if we do an event on Friday, Saturday feels like Sunday, and we're like, what is it, Sunday? That's all we keep, like, is it Sunday? We don't even know what day it is when that happens. So we went to the White Hill. We were there one other time this year, I believe, although I'm not sure. I believe we were. And it was cold.
Yeah, earlier in the year.
Very, very, very cold Friday night. It was very cold last night, too. Very, very cold building. And we layered up knowing it would be, but still, it was very, very cold. But, to its credit, like I said, that building has activity. They were featured on Ghost Hunters. They were featured on Paranormal Lockdown. It's a very, again, that place, there are some nights that are better than others, like every other building, but that place has activity. It's been proven on a lot of these different shows. So we went there and we investigated that building. Luann said it was cold. It was very cold. Again, that building doesn't have a whole lot of heat, which is why if you're going to investigate it, you should probably go there, fall, spring, summer type of thing, not past November. But we went there. Again, that's another building like every other building. Sometimes it's better than others. We did live investigations there where things happen a lot. We've done other events there where it's been kind of, better in some areas than others. So I usually take the basement where the bar is and all that. And that's another building that has a ton of stories attached to it. I'm sure some of them are true or most of it. I don't know, to be honest with you. But like I said, it doesn't matter who people say is there or not. There's stuff there. So this time I took the attic, if that's what you want to call it, the top floor. Tanya took the basement. Colleen was joining us along with Danielle and Samantha were helping us out. Kenny was sitting this one out because he didn't feel good. So Chris took the second floor, and we did pretty much the whole building. And I was there last night. Yeah, it's cold. It's very cold. So I don't really. The only time I spent up in the attic was when we did a live investigation there, and I don't think we spent a whole lot of time up there. And again, one of the funniest videos we've ever done is in the bordello area. That's what they call it. I don't know if there ever was a bordello there, but I was trying to say,
Sugar Daddy?
No,
Huggy
Bear,
like Bear, yeah.
the Starsky and Hutch instead.
Yeah.
I said Sugar Bear, and an anomaly flew right around me. It was pretty cool. But
that was funny.
But I was up there, and the EMF in that building that night. Again, I whitewash a lot of places we go, but that night the EMF was off the charts up in that attic, and I don't remember it being that way. And when that happens, for me, what I do is I'll throw every EMF piece of equipment that I have to the side and be like, okay, we're not really going to use those. And then the spirit box doesn't work well there either, because there must be a station nearby or something. You get a lot of radio bleed through there. So you're down to just basics, and there's nothing wrong with that. We were down to just static equipment that works by touch, Echovox, even EVPs I couldn't do because the building had so many people in it. So, but very rudimentary, basic investigating. And I had a great time with people up on the top floor with me. There was stuff going on, more so in the one room that's by the bordello than other rooms where we were mapping small figures. We got people interacting with them. And, I think people had a good time. And I heard that from kind of everyone, that kind of showed up that night. It was cold for sure. I mean, and everybody was cold. We were all trying to stay warm. But
someone was a spirit there was interested in Luann. Another spirit was interested in
Mr. Excitement, Tony. I got Tony going there a little bit. But again, familiar faces. A lot of our friends were there, which was really, really cool that we were able to see. Mark, Deb, Cheryl, Mike, Wendy, go down, Raven,
Lynn and John.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of people.
It was a lot of familiar faces, along with a couple of new faces that said they had a great time, which we really appreciate. But like I said, it was a good night, a really good night.
It was a good night.
Except for the cold, we had a good time there. And that's a building where, some of these places are featured on shows and people go up there and mess with them. And that building is one of them. They get break-ins, and they try with their security and do the best they can. But people are people. Who knows why people do what they do? But like I said, we had a good time. For warmer weather, for sure. But I had a good time there.
I did. We had to get. Daniel was helping me out on the second floor, and we had activity going around certain females that were being affected, and the activity definitely picked up when I took certain people and put them in different spaces and it was just, I think we're all brave when we're together, but when you get your senses heightened, when you think that you're isolated and alone, and it just heightens your fear factor, like, oh my God, what could possibly happen to you and I forget her name, and she has a long hair and she had the glasses, but
one of the newer people.
Yeah,
it was either Liza or Lynn.
Okay, she walked out of a room, and as soon as she walked out of the room, all of a sudden they went, and it just watching the reaction of that person I love it. And the one who was like, don't leave me in here by myself was her friend. It was I like it when they get it, when they finally feel the change, and something's happening. And we had a circle of K2s on the floor that they weren't going off, and then all of a sudden an individual sits there, like Deb sat, and then they were all going off, and another piece of equipment that's an old-fashioned lamp that it wouldn't go off, but with Deb, it was going off, and it was just like moving things around and going from space to space. And like 1 minute the spirits would be there interacting, and then all of a sudden they just go away. Okay, so they went away. Let us move. Let's see if we can find them, and we'd find them in another room, and things would happen. It was interesting.
No, I discovered something by accident, which I normally do, but I want to say
Yeah,
too.
there
like I
was
said,
Luann.
Samantha was with me, and you guys may not know Samantha, but you may have met her along the travels at our events. And Samantha, very, very bright young woman, really into the paranormal. We've known her since she was 11. She's now driving, and trying to slowly break her into doing what we're doing so she can be more part of what we're doing. Because I tell everyone that she's my Charlie Bucket. That when I get too old and can't do what I do anymore, Samantha will take the keys to the NJP kingdom and usher it into a new generation. But she was with me, and she was leading a little, working with me. She was like my Robin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
she did really well, and she got zapped by something there. But one thing I discovered by accident, and it's so funny how you do this stuff, and it can be any building anywhere, and you learn as you go, even when you're doing these events and you've been in a building for so long. John Nielsen, who I don't know if he's watching or not, John was there with us. John's a pretty tall guy, and John was getting a lot of interaction with stuff on the SLS and equipment going off. And he took his hands and he put them, I'm trying to get centered, kind of like this to his side, and two figures showed up right underneath him. And I was like, what? That's weird. And I saw that, and I'm like, maybe there's something to that. And I did that with different people after he left, and other groups came in. And literally, as if it was on command, I'd say, I was calling it like the outstretched the scarecrow or the Jesus pose. And every time. And it was really, really weird how something was reacting to that. And it was maybe in the dark, they did look like a scarecrow and something got scared. I don't know. But it worked every time. And I used that throughout the night. And stranger danger. Yeah, there was a whole lot of that going on. But like I said, it's one of the last events, one of the last events we're doing for 2022. From here we go to I don't even know where we are. We do the Girl Scout event at Centenary. How do you say? Centenary.
Yeah.
Centenary College, which is a benefit that we're doing again. And then we do the prison December 3rd. And then we do the Ghost of Christmas Past at the Creeper. And that's really
When's Wyckoff?
The Wyckoff's December 10th. Yeah, I forgot about that one. They're all sold out, though. So then we decided to celebrate my birthday for the 4th time, which, believe me, I ain't mad at anybody. They want to celebrate my birthday 3-4 times. More, hey, I'm not going to stop anybody. I did get a little tired of hearing happy birthday sung to me after the 4th or 5th time. But we decided, because we had a Friday night event and we weren't doing anything Saturday, so the 4 of us went out Saturday night. Was that last night?
Mm-hmm.
God, I get, my brain is mush. But we went to downtown Somerville. And we ate at a really good, like, family style Italian restaurant place where the ziti was just phenomenal.
That's that word.
But we did. It was cold. It was really cold. But we went to the antique stores, had some fun there, and then we went to go get food, and the food was great. Although there was water leaking on me where I was sitting first. I ain't mad at you, Alfonso's. The food was great. It's all that matters. But we ate together, and then we walked around some more. People did come out and sing happy birthday to me again. Then we walked around some more, and we did see an elderly woman who was drunk off her rocker, whose husband was yelling at her that she was staggering. It was hilarious. These two are walking, and he's got, doing the arm in arm thing with her, and she's wobbling, and she was older, and he pulls her towards him. He's like, "What's the matter with you? You're staggering. Stop staggering." And you could tell they were sitting at the bar when we got there, and they were there the whole time. So she was probably pretty tilted, but we had a lot of fun walking around. It was cold, but we had a good time. So I do appreciate
let alone going into the antique store. I'm telling you, it's a trip going into the antique store, and you see certain things that that shouldn't be out in public around us at all. We just make crack jokes, have a good time, just laugh up a storm, and we were definitely laughing up a storm, and I think we all needed that.
Oh, the food was amazing too. Oh, that place. I would definitely go back there again. Alfonso's, definitely. The ziti was like crazy good, and I'm literally pointing at everything is because I was starving. When I get hungry, forget about it. You don't want to be around me. But the pizza, I'm like, oh, the pizza looks good. Then there was a stromboli. I was like, oh, the stromboli looks good.
Oh, no.
And then the ziti came. I'm like, oh, I couldn't wait for my food, but really, really good. But we had a good time. And again, Tanya and Kenny took us out. Thank you for that. The meal was great. It was great hanging out and not have to do anything paranormal related and just hang out with each other. We're going to be doing more of that in like January. We even said we're going to be doing that in a few weeks. We're getting Tanya's the Grinch, and we're going to get her into the Christmas spirit. That is my life mission.
That's why you see the picture of me standing behind her with the Grinch. She just walked into the aisle and I found a Grinch, and it was like just so
my
perfect.
Life mission, to make Tanya's heart grow 2 sizes. And we're doing something on December 2nd that involves a Christmas town event type of thing, not paranormal. We're just going to go there and hang out together. And trust me, carriage rides, all the Christmas stuff, caroling. Tanya will be doing it all. So
we will make her.
But that's it. There she is. Never gonna happen. You say that, Tanya.
Is.
You know you love it. You know you love it.
Yes, it is, Tanya.
But before we say goodnight, I want my friend to just Zach, no, Zach, you got your own show. You got plenty of people watching you. You go back. You go, Zach. All right, Zach, I'm gonna go sit down. Yes. Will you be at the Burlington County Prison anytime soon? We are December 3rd is sold out. We were talking about a January date, but I don't think that's going to happen. We have 2 live investigations for new places booked for January. We'd rather do that, to be honest with you, and take the month of January off as far as doing events. Give ourselves a little downtime where it's just the 4 of us going back into buildings and doing what we do. But look for 2 really cool live investigations in January from Centenary College. We get the run of the whole building. And then from the Peachfield Museum, as well, which is a new place we never investigated that they say is haunted. So that should be really cool. But
can't wait.
We still have a ways to go. And we'll be back on probably Tuesday night, maybe Creeper Gallery this week. Maybe Tanya and I will shock the monkey.
Yes, Tanya.
Shock the monkey. Get it?
Be prepared, Tanya.
Anybody?
That's the one you're going to do with John, because I'm not doing that monkey one.
But maybe there will be potentially a Creeper Gallery live investigation again this week with the monkey. It's a monkey skull. It's about that big and it's creepy as hell.
It's an amulet. Something that you wear around the neck, right?
Necklace.
That's what it looks like.
Whatever. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support as always.
Have a good night. Stay well. Be safe. My brain stopped. Got to get back into going. And please, please, please be kind. Depression is a big thing during the holidays for people. So please go out of your way to be kind to strangers and friends alike. And have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone. See you guys soon. Take care.